Today is the first day of Lent, and Lent is the 40 days leading up to Easter, and it's a time of heart preparation. Now, for those of you who were raised Catholic or Anglican or Lutheran, uh, or in some other liturgical setting, you probably observed Lent. And based on whether these church experiences were positive or negative, that probably has a lot to do with your feelings about Lent. If your feelings are somewhat negative, I would like you to just put those feelings aside for just a moment and consider this. Uh, As a church, as individuals, it's really important that we come before God and ask Him to search our hearts. And that's the way I would like us to see this season leading up to Easter, is that we're asking God to search our hearts. If there's anything there that holds me back from you, uh, reveal that so that I might surrender and walk more fully in an understanding of your grace and love. And so as we head towards Easter, I would like us to ask God to do what He does in His loving way of searching our hearts and drawing us to Himself. Lent is one of the oldest Christian observances. It appears that in the second century, the church had 2 or 3 days before Easter that they would spend in heart preparation leading up to Easter. And then in 325 at the Council of Nicaea, they extended that period to 40 days. And there was a tie-in in the early seasons of preparation leading up to Easter, with people that were new believers being prepared to be baptized. And I love that idea there, that there's new believers that are being prepared to be baptized in Easter. There's not a better day to be baptized on, right? And so just as a side note, if you haven't been baptized and you have put your faith in Jesus Christ, I would encourage you to be baptized and talk to me. Maybe Easter would be a great day for you to be baptized on. But what soon happened within the early church is that it wasn't just for new believers, but it extended to the whole church, of spending 40 days preparing their hearts for Easter. All that to say, I believe we need to come before God and ask Him to prepare our hearts to more fully understand His grace and His love. That we always have room for that, right? Now, we just came through as a church 40 days of prayer that our denomination invited us into, and many of you participated in that. So you may be saying, well, why would we do this? We already did it. But why do we need to do it again? Well, you may have this sense also. I feel like that there's this sense within the church. I've had this sense, John and I, as we pray as elders for Westside, as I've connected with other pastors in our community, there's this sense that God has more for us, that He's calling us to more deeper understanding of who we are in Him, that we might live more fully in a vibrant relationship, an alive relationship with Him. I want us to use this season as an opportunity to just say, God, I want to know you more. Now, fasting is also affiliated with Lent. And I would encourage you to fast from something during the season of Lent. Maybe you set aside one day a week to fast from food, or maybe one meal a week you fast from food. Or maybe you set aside a day once a week that you're going to fast from TV or screens, or maybe you fast for 40 days from social media, or maybe you're really into sports, and so you're going to fast from sports, watching sports during the next 40 days. Why do we fast? Well, fasting is giving up something that captures our affections so that we have more time for God, and specifically more time to go to Him in prayer and to seek His face. When you and I fast, if we fast from food or say social media or something else, you feel either this physical pull towards food or this mental desire to fill your time with that thing that you've given up. And when you feel that tug, it's a reminder that Jesus is the only thing that truly satisfies. So I encourage you to fast from something during this season as a way of freeing up time to spend seeking God's face. For this season also, Maybe you pick up a book that is about going deeper with God. I'm going to be rereading The Common Rule by Justin Earley. It's a book I read a couple years ago. The subtitle is Habits of Purpose for an Age of Distraction. And this is about kind of ordering our days and so that we're more focused on the things of God. And so I encourage you, if you want to read this book, you can pick it up on Amazon. Tell me, and I'd love to discuss it with you. But let's look for ways that we can set aside time to prepare our hearts for the season of Easter. Our prayer during Lent, I want to be this. It's a prayer that I shared with you last week. It's a prayer that I've adapted a little bit. It's a prayer that was prayed for me at my wedding. And this is the prayer that I want us to pray during Lent. God, help us to love you most so that we can love each other and our neighbor best. God, help us to love you most so that we can love each other and our neighbor best. Let's seek God's face during this Lenten season.